Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
And also joining us is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's he doing?
Better.
Better now that it's been 24 hours since Hell in a Cell has
better than you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I've had a long day, so I know you've had a long day too. So we're back at it for another episode of In The Kliq. So much to talk about. Hell in a Cell 2021 is in the books, so we'll talk about that. Talk a little bit some of the highlights from NXT, and also a little bit of clickbait news. Nothing too major, but we'll talk about that in regards to NXT as well. But yes, Hell in a Cell was yesterday, is come and gone. Man, kind of a lot of emotions. I don't know about you guys, but for me watching this, because they were really pressing early on at the beginning of this show that it's the final pay-per-view of the Thunderdome era, because as we know, next month Money in the Bank is going to happen. WWE is going to go back on the road. So it was definitely kind of an interesting vibe. I don't know about you guys, but just watching this, knowing this is going to be like, we're the last few weeks of the Thunderdome experience before we see the WWE
Very
Universe.
Sad.
Yeah, very sad.
I'm really gonna miss it.
So it was very interesting. But actually, so before we get into the matches from Hell in a Cell, we got to touch on SmackDown, because Big Swerve happened late Thursday afternoon, early evening. It was announced, like, Rey Mysterio was tweeting that he couldn't sleep, and he was so pissed at Roman Reigns for attacking his son Dominic that he wanted the Hell in a Cell match early, 2 days early. So Roman versus Rey took place on this past Friday Night SmackDown, Hell in a Cell match, and I thought it delivered. I thought it was very good. Richard, what you think of this main event here?
Well, there's something else from SmackDown too I want to touch on real quick, but
okay.
I thought it was really, really good. It's funny because I have my expectations for Hell in a Cell matches are very low now.
Yeah,
even though like they're good. We get some really good ones, but I think since the Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose Cell match, I've been deflated at the idea of Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
But I thought it was very good, as well as the matches we got on the pay-per-views we're going to get into. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I was kind of weird. I was like, Rey Mysterio's never been in a Hell in a Cell. How is that possible?
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing Rey in a cell was fun. I like it. I think that's a really cool hype for a pay-per-view. You're giving the people a taste of what they're going to see on Sunday. And it was, I didn't even realize like they had never done Hell in a Cell on SmackDown. They did on Raw like once.
Twice. It was twice, actually.
Okay.
The first one was
Kane and Austin.
Was
it Kane and Austin?
No, Kane and Mankind, Mick Foley, before SummerSlam 98, before Austin Undertaker. It was a go-home show. And there was another, I just was reading up on this. There was another one, but yeah, they made a big deal. It was the first time on SmackDown and on network TV, so on Fox. So yeah, they're definitely hyping it up, and that's the thing. I wonder people were trying to speculate why this swerve, why this change. And I wonder, most people were saying, oh, it must be because of ratings. Maybe Fox wanted a Hell in a Cell match.
Nothing wrong with that if it is.
No, not at all. I mean, us as fans get it for free technically on Fox. That was great. So I was super excited for that. I thought Ray's promo at the beginning of the show was really good. Just heartfelt, speaking from the heart about why he's so upset and calling Roman out. It's like, you say you're a family man, but you do this to my family. I swore I was going to protect my son, and, being a dad, being
failed
protective.
as a father. He's not a good father.
So he,
Tommy and I were texting about that he's not a good father.
That Ray's not a good father. His son keeps getting beat up.
He's not even the kid's real dad.
I know. Where's Eddie Guerrero?
Eddie Guerrero's son.
I know. That's, I'm waiting for someone to make another reference on that TV. He's like, Dominic, that's not your real dad. It's Eddie Guerrero. So, but
prove it wrong.
I love, Roman comes out and then, he says, trying to rationalize with him. It's like, dude, do you want to do this? Are you sure? You don't have to. And Ray's like, yes. And then he's like, all right, we'll do it my way. And then boom, walks off. And just, the anticipation throughout the rest of the episode of SmackDown was great. And then the main event itself, I just love, Ray was dominating early on. He had the toolbox. He had the fire extinguisher, trying to use whatever he could find to knock out this bigger guy. But then Roman guys come back, and I love it. He just threw Ray over the ropes, very much like how he threw Dominic, but threw him into the cage wall, and he slid down.
That was brutal.
It was, so good. Just the spots, big guy, little guy vibe in there. But no, this was a really good Hell in a Cell for a TV, episode of SmackDown. So I loved it.
I got a tiny piece of fantasy booking for you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that they did Nakamura and Corbin on SmackDown the way they did it.
Okay. Like a best of 5. Yeah.
Sure. But I was kind of thinking, like, if they were to do the King of the Ring where the tournament means that you get to face the previous king to become the king. You have to slay the king, and you only get one chance a year to become King of the Ring.
Ah, okay.
So, like, for instance, Corbin really, he's been king for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting where it's like, okay, so what would happen if he's king for 2 years, but he's never had to, like, defend that title of his, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of cool if they had the tournament and then the tournament winner faces him like it is a title belt. But you only get, like, the Royal Rumble comes around once a year. You only get one shot of the year to beat the king.
And to take over the mantle as king of WWE.
Yes.
Ooh, that could be a whole new layer. I mean, that's something I was seeing towards the end of last week. There were rumors that WWE trying to build ideas, create some ideas for the launch of, the going back on the road again and the WWE Universe live in person. So there's some ideas. What can they do? One of the ideas is the rumors they're going to try to bring back King of the Ring, which I'm all for. I love King of the Ring. I mean, we all grew up loving King of the Ring, and how many careers that help, take to the next level. Austin, Owen Hart, Brett, Booker T. So we love King of the Ring. So I'm all for they bring it back. But I mean, I was kind of hoping have some like major stakes at the end of this. Whoever wins King of the Ring maybe gets a title shot. So you know how like Royal Rumble winner gets a title shot, WrestleMania. Yeah. Maybe the winner of King of the Ring, I don't know, depending on the time of the year they do it, that person gets a title shot at some point. So maybe that's it. Maybe add a whole new layer, Richard. Like you win the King of the Ring, then you got to take on the previous king, and then if you win that, you get a title shot as well. So a whole new layer. Yeah, so I'm with you, all that. So it's a very interesting. I cannot wait for King of the Ring if it comes back. And if they do, they should also do Queen of the Ring as well. I think
that was announced before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah, so I mean, boom, that's a lot of programming already booked right there. Did you hear the other rumor? They're thinking about doing like a point system, like a tournament.
No, they shouldn't. They've tried that before.
And didn't TNA do that, like the Bound for Glory point series or something like that? I think
they did that with their version of Worlds Collide, but it was basically they had teams come in, so it was like the Olympics. It was actually a stellar concept. It was done though, like when they were on their weekly pay-per-view. So they would have a Canadian team. That's where Bobby Roode and Eric Young came out of. And then there was a team UK that Dave Taylor from WCW was the team captain of.
Oh, wow.
They had
okay.
a team Mexico and a team Japan and then a team USA.
Nice. Okay.
I thought WCW did this in Starrcade as well years ago. I thought
Like a
they
point
did that
system?
they did a tag team
tournament.
Tournament,
Yeah.
the Pat O'Connor Memorial Cup.
That's right.
Gotcha.
TNA had the World Cup. It was really cool that there was like a battle royal. There was tag team matches, singles matches, and each one meant different points.
Nice.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that will work now. I think it gets kind of confusing. It's like, okay, wait, he won. This person won, but it's only 1 point because they didn't do this or that. So, I mean, it can get kind of confusing after a while, I just think, or it gets very convoluted. But, I mean, King of the Ring.
You're not invited. You're not invited.
I
How
can't
about
do
that?
math. I can't do the math on this. So, no, I think that'd be cool. I mean, now it's like, so what do you do with King Corbin? Or is he just back to Baron Corbin again?
He's Baron Corbin now. He's ruined. He's a ruined man.
And Shinsuke is now the new king of WWE, the king of
He's the
strong
king of
style.
wrestling.
Yes, so I think that's awesome. So I think that's a good way for Shinsuke to give him something new to do, and kind of with Rick Boogs as by his side as well. It's a whole new layer for him as a character. So, but yeah, no, Hell in a Cell with Roman and Ray, good stuff. I loved it, and
SmackDown was very good.
yeah, very good episode. And I know we're recording right now on a Monday, and a little spoiler, you should watch Raw tonight. If you thought SmackDown was like, hey, why does SmackDown get a Hell in a Cell match but not Raw? I'll leave it at that. So Raw.
You mean Bobby Lashley's having a Hell in a Cell match
okay.
with Xavier Woods?
Oh, you already know that. Okay. Or is it Kofi? I thought it was Kofi.
Kofi's at the pay-per-view.
Okay. So, yeah. Check it out. Watch Raw this week. So, yeah, both Raw and SmackDown both get Hell in a Cell matches this week. So, good stuff. So, all right, let's jump into the pay-per-view. As I said earlier, final pay-per-view of the Thunderdome era. I love the whole opening video package with Ozzy Osbourne and just the graphics and stuff. I thought it was really cool. But, you know, Richard, just kind of give my overall thoughts. I thought overall we had some really good in-ring wrestling. Unfortunately, some bogus finishes that I think really kind of sour, you know,
I know what you're talking about.
sour, I think, the overall appeal or this show. I mean, I was talking to some coworkers and stuff, and earlier today, and they all felt this was kind of a forgettable pay-per-view, unfortunately. I think part of it is just because of those finishes and kind of just leaves people just kind of a little upset. And we'll go through.
Let's just get into them. Tell me which ones.
Okay, so well, the opening match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I love this match. I thought it was really good. It was a last minute change this past Friday on SmackDown. Bianca challenged her to a Hell in a Cell match, and so their match got upgraded to the Hell in a Cell. I really enjoyed just how Bayley was trying to use Bianca's ponytail against her, but then Bianca would counter and use her ponytail to get back at Bayley. Like one time, her hair was tied on the rope, and then Bianca grabbed the hair and used it to trip Bayley onto the steel steps that were in the ring. What's
not to like about this?
I know. I love this. Well, no, there's some other matches with the finishes where I did not enjoy, but I'll just go down through these matches real quick. So, but I just love, you know, Bianca, her strength really came through on this. Like she had the steel, you know, steps and was able to throw it, and while Bayley was struggling. And what'd you think of Bayley biting Bianca's arm at one point in this match? It seemed like
she's a heel.
Yeah, so it's kind of like desperate, you know, moves to, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate moves like that.
Desperate measures.
Yeah. I also like how Bayley was trying to use the kendo sticks, you know, kind of make like a little bridge between through the cage wall and the ring apron. Kind of a callback to her match with Sasha, which is interesting. It was like, man, so Bayley's been the last two female Hell in a Cell matches from October to now. So that was kind of a cool callback. And Michael Cole, I like how he was acknowledging that. And Bayley was like, shut up, Michael.
Cole.
So, but I love the finish of this match as far as Bianca hitting the KOD on the ladder. That looked brutal. But, so Bianca wins and she's now, retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. I really enjoyed that. So I thought it was a really great match. I thought it was very creative because I think Sasha and Bayley last year really set the bar high of a women's Hell in a Cell match, and now Bianca, I think, was able, you know, with her and Bayley, they were to be kind of creative in this whole matchup here, you know, tell a little bit of a different story. So, was there anything else about this match that really stood out for you?
I don't think there's been a bad women's Hell in a Cell match yet. I think
Yeah.
they've all been really, really memorable.
Yeah, Charlotte and Sasha.
Charlotte and Sasha with the wedgies, and Becky and Sasha was really good.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Becky, the thing that sticks out to me with Becky and Sasha was Becky putting Sasha on the chair that was elevated by kendo sticks.
That's
and then
right,
she drop kicked her. This one, I think I'm going to remember the KOD on top of the ladder. That was brutal. That was awesome.
Oh, it looked like it hurt so bad, but yeah, for us watching, it was great. Next up was Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, last minute booking from SmackDown as well. I mean, I like, Seth as a heel attacked Cesaro before the match started. I kind of laughed. Did you guys see that little bit of a light show? Like, they were talking about the Thunderdome, and this match is going on. And they start flashing all those blue lights, and I'm sure the wrestlers were like, "What the hell's going on right now?" But I mean, I love Cesaro. His offense early on, how he took like the glove off Seth and starts sticking in his mouth. Cesaro also with that sharpshooter, the swing, but started stomping on him. But then Seth countered and got the rolled up victory on him. So I thought, these two guys, come on, they're two of the best wrestlers on the WWE roster. You're not going to
get a bad match out of it.
Yeah. And Seth gets his payback, for losing at WrestleMania. I don't know. What'd you think, though, about the roll up finish? I think a lot of people, I saw on Twitter, people were complaining. Great, a roll up for the win. But I thought that's a good way for a heel to get some
heat. He's a heel. Exactly.
Yeah.
See, what the people online don't get is how heels are healed. Like, they're cheap. They cheat. They do bad things. They do things that are supposed to make you upset.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm guessing, it's like 50-50 right now. Each got to win. So I'm guessing maybe they'll have their blow-off match at Money in the Bank coming up. So, hopefully the third match will be a true banger of a match there. All right, next up, probably... I'm going to say worst match of the night. Alexa Bliss taking on Shayna Baszler here. I mean, Richard, come on. I'm sorry. I'm so over this whole Alexa Bliss gimmick as the Fiend 2.0. It's just the magic, the voodoo.
I'm not ready for her to get rid of the suspenders, Danny, okay?
the hypnosis, whatever it is. It's just coming off way too goofy.
Magic.
It's magical for you on the eyes. So.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
But, I
don't understand what the problem is. Papa Shango made ooze come out of the Ultimate Warrior.
And Mean Gene Okerlund.
And Mean Gene. It was terrifying.
And where are they at now? They're all gone.
They're gone because of magic.
I was trying to get into it early on. Shayna's attacking Alexa, but Alexa's fighting, not selling it. Nothing's working. She just laughed it off.
She possessed Nia.
Oh, okay, we'll get into that in a second. Yeah. It just okay, Shayna, was twisting Alexa up on the shoulder and attacking on that. But then, she stared in Shayna's eyes.
Her soul. She stared right into her soul.
And made her let go of the hold. I was like, what?
Yes.
Come on.
These are things that happen.
Look, I'm staring at you right now. Let's see if I can make it work. But then later on, she stares at Nia, who's standing outside, and they start marrying each other as far as, raise a hand, the other person raised their hand, mimicking each other. And then finally Alexa, in the middle of the ring, swings her arm, and then Nia does the same thing and hits Reginald in the face.
He's controlling her.
So, hypnosis, the voodoo
That's how
magic.
Hypnosis works.
What's that one famous hypnosis was on Howard Stern, wakey wakey or something?
I know who you're talking about.
But I'm waiting for that. I was waiting for a wakey wakey.
Wow.
Alexa saying that's what Alexa should say now. She puts people under her spell. Wakey wakey, and then start making them do stuff.
Oh my!
Cluck like a chicken or something.
Oh my God!
Didn't he hit that guy on Howard Stern? Didn't he hypnosis on Ronnie the Limo Driver?
Yeah, and Sal and all that stuff. But and then after she slapped Reginald, then Alexa screams ah, and then Nia screams too. But there was a bad camera angle.
Scared. I was scared.
It was a terrible camera angle. The ropes was blocking her eyes, Nia's eyes. I was like, this whole thing seems so stupid to me.
I didn't know that you were so attached to Nia's eyes.
I get lost in them. I want to be like Shayna and get lost in Alexa's eyes like I would be for Nia, if that makes sense. But like then Alexa tries to hit some weird version of Sister Abigail into a DDT. That seemed kind of like clunky to me. It didn't seem too smooth. And then she hit
smooth to me.
Twisted Bliss and picks up the victory over Shayna. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just over Alexa Bliss as this Fiend 2.0 character because she hasn't been wrestling for the longest time. She's been doing these weird backstage segments, seem to be going nowhere. And even last week on Raw, she said Lily's in timeout. So maybe is Lily the doll gone in preparation for them going back on the road? I don't know. It's just...
Here's where I think your confusion is and where I think the fans are wrong. When Bray Wyatt started doing The Fiend, everything was in riddles. And it was hardcore riddles like this, and he would play games. And I don't think people are looking at this and dissecting it the same way. I think everything that she's saying probably has some meaning towards something we're going to get.
I hope so.
Because Bray did that pretty hardcore when he first started. It was just like he's even taking shots at himself for things that he'd like Husky Harris and like coming out and talking all the time. So, but in the end, it paid off, and it paid off in spades. I think people need to give this a shot because I feel like we really haven't seen the only transformation we've got from Alexa Bliss was at WrestleMania, and that visual that people got to see, even though like the weird end, like people were going nuts over how cool it looked. So I think if you give it a little time to breathe, because the Firefly Funhouse went on for months before we saw The Fiend.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, was that back in 2019? Because the Fiend debuted at August, that SummerSlam against Finn Balor. But I know, I'm trying to be patient, but I just feel like
you're very impatient.
Well, I want to
very impatient.
Like everything you just said, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that this is leading to a much bigger picture. But I'm worried, since WWE sometimes can be week to week and change things on a dime, that.
But they're clearly sticking with this at this point. Like they have, this is the fatigue that you get when you're not used to long-term booking.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt this is going to lead to something, but I'm worried that this is all going to lead to nothing. And it's like, I'm curious how the WWE fans are going to react to this in person, because once they leave the Thunderdome, they're not going to be able to kind of get away with a lot of this
in
magic.
In person, people are going to cheer her in suspenders.
So I don't know, man. We'll see how this goes. I mean, it's just this match. I was just so done with it and over it. I don't know, Tommy, anything else? Did you enjoy that match? Then the use of the magical.
He loved every second of it.
I'm not going to lie. During most of the match, I was in the bathroom because I had to take a dump.
Oh, boy.
There you go. That's explanation.
It was the Thai food I had last night for dinner.
There you go. That's Tommy's review of that particular match.
I'm being honest.
Next up, another last-minute match that was booked. Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn. It was in reaction to Kevin Owens getting attacked from Commander Z with the Nigerian nail. Sami Zayn, rubbing in his face and attacked him and laughing at him. So they got this match. Listen, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but these guys probably face each other hundreds of times at this point in their career.
Within WWE on TV, I would say at least 100 times.
Exactly.
That's just WWE.
Not Ring of Honor.
Yeah. When was the last match that they had? Did they have a match at WrestleMania?
WrestleMania was the last
time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this a hell of a lot more than I did the WrestleMania.
Really? Why is that?
I have no idea. I was into this for some reason, and I was so not looking forward to that at WrestleMania.
Well, this one was definitely very physical. It told a little bit of a different story than we saw at WrestleMania. It just was more raw and intense, and they're really beating the hell out of each other. Remember that one point where they were like slapping each other, rolling around on the mat? I was like, oh, damn. I mean, hate to break kayfabe, but we know they're like best friends. So maybe since they're best friends.
Not anymore.
But maybe that's why
since Kevin found out that he thinks that Sammy's crazy, Kevin's not his best friend anymore.
Exactly. But they were laying into each other, these slaps and, hair flying. Sammy's mouth was busted open, had a little blood coming out. But yeah, it was very hard hitting. I mean, I like how Kevin was selling the 2 Nigerian nails he got from SmackDown, but he kept coughing throughout this match. And I'm like,
poor Kevin.
I was like, I thought he at some point was kind of overdoing it. It's like, okay, we know your throat hurts. We saw Sammy drop Kevin on the rope, and Kevin started going, and I was like, okay, chill.
And you're laughing. I hope you never can get Kevin Owens on this podcast.
We're still in a pandemic, man. It's like, quit coughing so much on each other.
You can't help it.
But
that's what happens when you take the mask off. If he had his mask on, he'd be fine.
El Generico. But I was kind of shocked that Sammy hit the haluva kick, and that's what ultimately got the win for him.
Won it with his finisher. And he was cheap the whole time. And
that's, it was a big win. I think it was his first singles win since like October of last year. So Sammy, the conspiracy theorists, should be happy. At least he got one win in almost 8 months. So I enjoyed this match as well. Tommy, I know, I saw you tweeted that you thought this was a really good match as well, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed the physicality of the match.
Yeah. Next up, another match that I unfortunately was really kind of just bummed with the whole finish here and thought was just totally sucked. Rhea Ripley taking on Charlotte Flair.
I have a different take on this one.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead and explain. Please try to make me feel better.
Without knowing what's going on right now on Raw, I took this as Charlotte has done things to everybody to win at any cost or keep her title at any cost. And I think when that match finished, I mean, I get it. It's a heel move. We don't know if she's a heel. She might not even be a heel or a babyface. She might just be a tweener like Austin or The Rock. But I think kind of what you got is Rhea taking a page out of Charlotte's book. And it's funny to me that people were upset, but at the same time, they didn't want Charlotte to win the belt. So it's like, well, she didn't win the belt. And she did something that would piss off Charlotte even more because it's something Charlotte would have done. Because it had the roles been reversed, Charlotte would have done the exact same thing to keep her belt. And I think when you watch that match carefully, Rhea was not winning that match by any means. Charlotte had the advantage on her for 70% of it. Yeah. So I think she took her time or took advantage of a moment where she could cost her the match and then rub it in her face.
Yeah, okay. No, you did bring some good points there. So as far as babyface heel, this match, I don't know what side to believe anymore, because started out Charlotte being kind of heel, grabbed the Raw title, threw it at Rhea Ripley before the bell started, slapping with her in the head. So Charlotte was acting very heelish there. And I love, Rhea with the big move. She had that missile drop kick that looked great. Charlotte, though, hit that double moonsault off the top rope. That looked awesome. But, they go outside and Rhea, reaching over to the announcer's table, falls back and seemed like an accident, lifts up the top of the announcer table, that piece of plywood with the logo on it, hits Charlotte Flair, and the ref's like, ding, 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 stop it.
That's a disqualification, though.
But I'm like, how many times have we seen that on Raw, SmackDown pay-per-views where guys and gals throw each other on the announcer's table all the time and use the table as part of the match and nothing ever happens? So I'm like,
maybe it was a different referee those times.
God damn it. I was just like, this is so stupid. I was just frustrated. But then, okay, and then going back to the babyface heel thing. So after the bell rings, Charlotte wins, technically by DQ, but Rhea keeps the title. Then Rhea gets some heat, attacks Charlotte, hits the riptide after the match. So she stands tall, though, and then Charlotte, staring her down as Rhea's walking up the ramp, and Rhea's yelling, I just did what you would have done. And so Was it a double turn? So now is Rhea acting more heelish now, even though she started out as the baby face?
I think it's more like she's tired of Charlotte's crap.
And just the frustration there.
Yeah.
So... I'm with you. I was just confused. Okay, is Rhea still a baby face, but she's just pissed off, so she's just more angry at Charlotte and just letting that frustration out. But I mean, this is obviously just a filler match up until, because, spoiler, on Raw tonight, it was announced that they're going to have a rematch at Money in the Bank already. It's been announced.
What?
So, obviously, this is just a stepping stone. So
I think they're just afraid of making anybody look strong against Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're afraid to have Charlotte lose, unless it's on a really big stage.
They're just really overprotecting her.
Yeah, and they really are. And so, I wonder... just early fantasy booking. There were rumors that Becky Lynch has been working out at the Performance Center last week. I wonder if Becky will win Money in the Bank and then go after Charlotte wins the title at Money in the Bank and they have a match at SummerSlam. That's just my early guess. Just throwing it out there. You heard it here first, people. So, because Becky technically never lost the title. She gave it away at Money in the Bank. So
she relinquished it.
So wait. So who are you saying would be the champion going into SummerSlam?
Charlotte. So Charlotte beats Rhea Ripley for the title at Money in the Bank, and then a month later goes up against SummerSlam.
I could see Becky winning Money in the Bank, cashing it in, and Charlotte costing her that match.
Oh.
And the only reason I say that is because I think Charlotte and Becky clearly have amazing chemistry. And they've wrestled a whole bunch. Yep. I think it's probably something they would want to do in terms of getting Becky reacclimated back into the field.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next, man, because there's, Becky Lynch rumors that she's going to come back. And I think they've been holding off on her coming back until there's a live crowd. You don't want to ruin that pop. There's also rumors they're trying to get Brock Lesnar back for SummerSlam at some point. So...
I keep hearing that, and it's so hard for me to think, like, do I want to see him in Lashley or do I want to see him in this version of Reigns? I want to see him in Lashley just because I haven't seen that.
Yes. No, listen, we've seen him in Roman so many times.
But this is a different Roman. That's the problem. It's exactly. Like, ugh.
I still would want Lashley and Brock. I think that's be a more interesting story that we have not seen. And kind of see what we happen on Hell in a Cell. I think it adds more reason to it. So yeah, let's get to the main event here. Bobby Lashley defending the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. Richard, you and I were texting last night. We both love this match. Just the physicality, the hard hitting.
Brutal.
It was so good. I mean, God, these two guys, Tommy, you and I, we love big hosses fighting each other.
They have great chemistry.
Yeah, and they're both inside Hell in a Cell match. Unfortunately, the Hell in a Cell, the whole purpose of it, as far as keeping other people out, it was pointless in this match.
The way they did it, I thought, was a stroke of genius for two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, the MVP sliding in the cane early on.
That was cool.
And then when they took out the ref, MVP finding his way inside the cage. I loved it. He's someone on my Instagram page had told me, like, basically MVP is Harley Race to Vader. When Harley Race was Vader's manager in WCW. Yes. That's what it reminds him of.
Okay, no, that's a great comparison. I like that. I mean, that's the thing. I was going to say, MVP, it shows why having a good manager is so important for some wrestlers. And I feel like that's such a lost cause in today's pro wrestling world, having a really good manager. Luckily, in this situation, MVP's been money with Bobby Lashley and helping him keep the championship going and adding so much more to his character, elevating Bobby Lashley as a whole. I mean, he really is the MVP of Bobby Lashley's run, but WWE in the last year, all that stuff. But I mean, as I said, I mean, I love like the first half. It was, Drew really dominating, beating the crap out of Bobby. And then, as you said, he threw that cane in, and then Bobby was able to kind of counter back. But it was interesting. They set the tables up. They had that one sitting off to the side, and then the other one at an angle in the corner. And they just set them up, but they never came back to them for a long time. And I forgot about them. But I like how, Bobby, when he was dominating, he had the kendo stick and he was just beating Drew over and over. And then Drew's back, and if you look on his Instagram and Twitter, his back was all welted up afterwards. But like Richard, what you said, I like what happened next as far as Drew having the chair. Bobby, pushes him, and then Drew falls into the ref, so hits him unintentionally with the chair. The ref's knocked
Chad
out.
Patton. Poor Chad Patton.
I know, exactly. So Drew, he's like trying to wake him up, and then he's like telling the other ref come in. So the second ref comes in, who's taking forever trying to get the key locked. I like how Drew hit the Claymore, but the way that the pinfall it was shot.
Yeah.
You see the ref.
It was classic wrestling. Like we haven't seen I'm sure people have seen it, but nothing like where it's a high stakes moment like that, where it's like, oh God, he's got it won. Because how long was that match? Do you have that in your notes?
I think 25 minutes roughly. Let me look.
Really? I thought it was way longer than that.
Let me see. Let me just look on Wikipedia real quick if they have the answer here for me. We got it. 25 minutes, 45 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then, you think Drew's going to win, but then MVP pulls that second ref away from making that third count. And then I like how they locked MVP in the cage. So, the point of keeping other people out, it ultimately led to locking people inside. And then I like how Drew started beating up MVP, took his chain, and was like sticking it in his mouth. That was pretty funny, I thought. But then, Bobby comes from behind, heads to Hurt Lock, and Drew's fighting. And then I like how they fell into the table that was set up early in the match. I was like, oh, there's that table. That's where that table's been.
Call back.
Yeah, and then Drew with all those chair shots on Bobby. He was going for the Claymore. He misses, but then Bobby recovers and choke slams Drew on that other table that was on the outside. But did you see after Drew landed, did you see there was a hand under the ring grabbing, if you have a chance, for anyone listening to this, watch that table spot again. I swear, there was someone under the ring. Their hand came out and grabs...
This is the stupidest remark you've ever made. Hornswoggle lives under the ring, Danny. Come on. I thought you knew. I thought you knew wrestling. What the hell do you know?
Oh my God! Thank you for that reminder. That's great. But this finish here, okay, I liked it to a certain point. As far as Bobby went for the spear but missed, and then Drew went for the Future Shock DDT. And he was trying to go for another Claymore, but the MVP grabbed his leg. So it's like, okay, see, that's what happens when MVP is stuck in the cage still. He can help out. And then Drew turns around, is getting distracted, and then Bobby comes in, gets the roll-up pin. Now, okay.
So here we go. I got to say, are we going to send Vince McMahon a basket full of fruit roll-ups?
Ooh.
Of all the roll-ups from last night's episode.
Hey, now.
What?
No, but okay, because
Bobby Lashley earned it. Boy. Ooh.
Well, no, but Richard, I would enjoy, Drew, come on, Drew, you should know better. MVP's there. MVP distracted you at WrestleMania. You let him distract you again. I was like, oh, no.
Cool.
But total
never
fool.
liked him. I never liked him.
I love you, Drew. He's my bestie. You saw that. But
you interview him now, it seems like every time he's got a title match. So maybe it's time for me and Tommy to interview him.
Okay. Hey, you saw the video. He said next time he comes to the Bay Area, he wants to sit down with me. So we'll
have a talk about why he's losing.
I thought it was a good luck charm. Now it was bad luck charm.
You're just a charm.
Oh, Lucky Charm. Me, Lucky Charm. Say, oh no, wait, he's not Irish. He's Scottish.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
So, I mean, for me, the roll up, it just sucked to me, a roll, because we saw already with Seth Rollins, so they're doing it again in the same night. I thought, okay, if MVP is distracting Drew, I would love to see Bobby come in, instead of a roll up, do a spear or something more devastating to get that victory of a finish. That's what was just a little annoying to me. It was a roll up. I mean, I get he's a heel, trying to reinforce that he's a heel with the chicken ass finish, but it's
I mean, you got to look at it too as it wasn't just the roll up, because it was MVP and that distraction that led to the roll up. So
yeah.
To me, I thought it was a really good finish, because the stakes were so high for Drew. He's not going to challenge Lashley, which is either going to mean he's going to screw Lashley out of the belt, or he's just going to have to move on to something else.
And no, I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, Bobby wins. So I don't know what's next for him, but for Drew McIntyre, he's 0-2 in Hell in a Cell matches. That was kind of a little bit of a downer. I was like, oh man,
career's over. His career is pretty much done.
But let me ask you this. Yes. What's next for Drew McIntyre? That's the big question as far as
retire. I don't want to see him anymore. Do you want to see him? No.
I would love to see him. I want to see him as much as I can. No, but like, because here's the thing. Think about it. Okay, he loses, and I'm glad Corey Graves stressed this at the end. Was like, okay, the stipulation is if he loses, he can't challenge for the title again if Bobby Lashley has it. So he can eventually go for it again if someone else is a champion. So, all right, I guess this is a way to kind of separate him, distance himself from the WWE Championship for a bit because he was so involved in the last, 15 months. So maybe it's a little bit of a nice break, some fresh air, change of scenery. But what's next for Drew? Like, does he go after Sheamus in the U.S. title?
No.
Jinder Mahal, he came back.
He doesn't have to go after a title.
He is the
I
champ.
think a personal issue with someone would be better. Plus, I mean, it could just mean that he wins the Royal Rumble again this year in front of a crowd and then has his moment in main event at WrestleMania.
Or maybe Money in the Bank. Just saying.
Maybe.
It's a contract. Maybe. But like, okay, like what's a good rivalry next for him is, like I said, maybe Jinder, because Jinder, remember, re-debuted for like one night and then was gone again. So maybe he can come back and attack him. They do have history together. I'm trying to think. I mean, they don't want to do
Randy Orton? No.
I mean, so that's the other things. Like, who can go over after Bobby Lashley? I mean, it looks like Kofi and the New Day are gonna, maybe Randy Orton down the road for Bobby Lashley, or maybe the New Day is just a filler for the next month, and then it leads to
Riddle,
Brock Lesnar.
Sheamus, Keith Lee.
Yeah, I was thinking Keith Lee.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what's next for Drew McIntyre. Like, how do you keep him fresh in the main event scene, but away from the title picture for a while until someone else is champion?
You haven't feud with Jinder.
I'd like to see Jinder.
I like that though. I think that's a good way to reestablish Jinder and have a personal history feud with someone.
Yeah, yeah.
So
3-man man.
Heath Slater come back.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Impact Wrestling star.
If you work at Impact, I don't know if you can call yourself a star.
Wow.
Hey now.
Shots fired from Richard, people.
Yeah.
All right. Let's touch on some of the highlights real quick from NXT before we head on out of here. But actually, before we talk about NXT, a couple things. There were some reports, as I mentioned earlier, Becky Lynch working at the Performance Center. So a lot of people are anticipating she's going to make a return soon. Also, on SmackDown this week, actually before SmackDown started, there were some dark matches. And Karrion Kross and Scarlett were there, and also Bronson Reed. Yeah. And actually, Tommy, I sent you the link. There were some screenshots. It looked like Karrion Kross took on Shelton Benjamin. And
Bronson Reed took on
Drew Gulak. Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to be live on main event.
Yeah.
Or that's just for a separate thing. So
yeah,
it looks like Richard, I don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like maybe Karrion Kross and even Bronson Reed might be called up to Raw or SmackDown a lot sooner than later than we anticipated.
I think it's maybe just a special kind of matches they have. It's just a one-time thing, maybe, because I don't think they're quite ready to be on the main roster yet.
Well, I think the rumor was they wanted the upper management wanted to see them work in the ring.
That's what I figured.
Sure.
So maybe they're trying to figure out, okay, who's next from NXT that we can bring up.
Well,
and
it might also just tell you that those are two people that Vince has his eye on for higher hopes for them.
Yeah, so I'm stoked for both of them. If they do get a call up, it's always a cool opportunity to get to Raw or SmackDown per se, even though I know a lot of people get upset when their favorite NXT stars get switch over and don't get the same treatment. So keep an eye out for that and see what happens, especially with NXT. And, both of them are champions, NXT champion and North American champion respectively. So that's going to be interesting. But for NXT this week, William Regal comes out, cuts this amazing heartfelt promo, just his history in NXT and how much the brand means to him. And
it was very sincere.
Being general manager, he's tearing up.
Poor man.
And then Karrion Kross comes out, confronts him, and says, "Are you gonna quit? Quit as GM."
He was just being honest. That's how I look at it.
Dick.
What?
But then we hear, burr, burr, burr.
That's the Godzilla theme. Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was his old theme in the indie scene, but yeah.
But bam, look, as we touched on last episode or last week, as far as the rumor, Samoa Joe makes his return to NXT, comes out, and William Regal offered him the GM role, and he says, "No, I don't want to do that. But I do respect you and I want to help you." So he's more or less says, "I'll be your enforcer. I'll help make sure keep things in line for you." So, man, and then, Richard, we haven't a chance to talk about it, but Tommy and I love the whole back and forth between him and Karrion Kross. Amazing, just promo. What would you think about the whole thing?
I love every second of it because it's like,
take my money.
Yeah, take all my money.
Yeah.
Whatever's left.
What are you doing in my ring? What are you doing in this ring?
Yeah. And he said, young champion.
TikTok
when you
young
look at
champion.
when you look at that roster, realistically, who could beat Kross? Like, I can see them try to do it with Kyle O'Reilly and maybe like try to wear him down with submission moves, but at the same time, it's like it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Maybe Bronson Reed, but Samoa Joe, that's like, if anyone's gonna beat Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe's damn good.
Okay, Tommy, let's ask the hard question. Listen, Rich, I know
don't make me decide.
I know it's two of your favorites. You got to pick one. If they wrestle each other, who's going to win? Who do you want to win?
Selfishly, I want Samoa Joe to win so Kross can go up to the main roster finally.
I knew you were
Quite frankly, I think the one thing that has been a disadvantage for Kross has been the lack of NXT using his mic skills.
Yes, I do agree with that.
He's so good on a mic, and they hardly ever have him on a mic. And when he does, it's slower and methodical. You believe it, but it's like, he's so talented.
Let me ask you this, and this is something, when it comes to the ring, they focus on that first part of the intro, the slow stuff. I wish, if he's not getting the full entrance experience with the smoke and Scarlett doing her thing, if it's him just storming down to the ring, I wish they would cut into more of the upbeat part of the song, the fall, run, pray.
That's how, when he did come out this week, they did that.
Yeah, they
when
did.
He came out to confront Regal.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch that part. But I mean, other times it's like,
I know what you mean.
Give me like abbreviated version of that song.
Yeah, we don't need the slow intro.
Yeah.
Like they do with Seth Rollins before his old theme.
Yeah. So, but dude, I love this whole segment. It just goosebumps seeing Samoa Joe back in NXT ring, and he's offering his services to work alongside William Regal. William Regal says you can only put your you can't be a competitor. You can't put your hands on people unless provoked.
Yeah.
I love that little detail there.
You know that's going to break down. Like,
yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, they're telling you what the future story is for this. And I think it's somewhat brilliant that you're going to get, it's going to get that way because when did you say the next takeover is by?
So the rumor is, SummerSlam is Saturday, August 21st. So Sunday, August 22nd is open. So the rumor is that takeover is going to be that Sunday. So in 2 months time.
Yeah. So he can have another match in between there.
If he's cleared to wrestle.
Are you talking about? You're talking about Kross.
I'm saying Kross.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Samoa Joe.
And then they make it such a big takeover because Samoa Joe's going to challenge him for it. He's going to wind up provoking it.
Right.
So I'm stoked. I mean, later on night, we see people fighting in the back. He comes up from behind. Adam Cole pushes him because Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly going back and forth. And, Regal said they're going to have a match now, Great American Bash. But then Samoa Joe comes up behind, takes out Adam Cole, and just throws him down. And then later on in the night, he's taking out other people and breaking up. But Johnny Gargano tries to come in the ring, the office.
He's like, "Hey, what's up, Joe?" And he's like, but it's like he was like being nice to Johnny Gargano, like, "Hey, Johnny, could you do me a favor? Get the hell out of here," And then he just was like, he went from just 100, like.
Well, Austin Theory's still doing the Diesel things. Like Johnny's like, "Stop it, no more Diesel. We're done. It was one night only."
What's funny is the last time Samoa Joe was in NXT, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were just debuting.
Is DIY.
That's DIY.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing how much he's, obviously.
Was that 2016 or 17?
I think 16.
Yeah, 16.
Because 17, I think Joe was on the
16.
main. Yeah.
16.
Yeah, right.
That fatal 5-way. Joe
15,
was in.
16 actually.
Yeah.
Because when I had my interaction with Joe, that was in 2015. So
yeah, and Finn
it
Balor.
was a couple months from then.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember watching. Yeah, that was around the time when Joe lost the title to Shinsuke Nakamura, right?
Yeah.
It's around that time, yeah.
So, no, I love this Joe's interaction with everyone throughout the night, just kind of, get everyone in order. And look, William Regal's got a new right-hand man, and I cannot wait to see what's next. Will this eventually lead to a match? I mean, just a possibility.
Joe right now is like Odd Job, just like kind of like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, let me ask you this. Now, William Regal, we don't see all the time every week. Do you think they should treat that with Samoa Joe as well? Kind of use him sparingly. You don't want to oversaturate his presence on TV?
With Joe?
Yeah.
No.
Or maybe they can alternate, maybe...
No. I don't think they're going to misuse Joe's presence there, but at the same time, I feel like he's going to have a presence there.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if he's going to be choking out the women as well. So, because that was the thing that was driving Regal the most bad shit at TakeOver.
Was
the ladies fight.
Ember and Shotzi
Yeah.
feuding with Dakota and Raquel.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be like, hey, listen, I'm a gentleman. Please back up.
Yeah. Or
Like,
else.
Yeah, come on. Ladies, please. I don't want to have to do anything I don't want to do. Just please back up and just maybe
Or he's
just
going to throw him around like a rag doll.
but maybe his voice and his presence can get that going. But no, for me though, like with Samoa Joe, what I'm excited for is obviously him interacting with the newer people on the roster that we haven't seen him interact with before. And just what he could possibly do with NXT. Would it lead to eventually a match? Or, I saw some people online speculating, what happened if this is a trial run? Maybe eventually could he be a GM for NXT or Raw or SmackDown eventually if he gets called up as more of an on-air presence, for Raw or SmackDown?
I mean, for me personally, I'd love for him to go back to the announce booth when he's done wrestling. So
Yeah.
Maybe for
I think
NXT.
they're aware of that. I at some point I'd love to hear what happened, what went wrong, like why would you possibly think that Samoa Joe is someone that would be let go? So
I mean, I would not be surprised they let him go and then they brought him back 2 months later, but they renegotiated at a cheaper deal, a cheaper salary. That's my guess, if I had to guess what it was. It's unfortunate. I think he's worth every single penny you pay him. He's just, his presence is, and I think he'll be a great, maybe a ratings bump for NXT, hopefully moving forward as well. That's what I really want to see. So we're all cannot wait for more of Samoa Joe on NXT. One other thing, obviously, it was the celebration of Eli Drake winning the $1 Million Championship.
LA Knight.
Did I say LA Drake? Oh my God, LA Knight at TakeOver.
you said L.A. Drake.
Did I say LA Drake?
No, you said Eli Drake.
He just said L.
I know.
God damn it.
I had to correct
Too many
him.
damn names.
So he's La Drake now?
La Drake, yeah.
The Drake.
Is it French?
He's Drake.
He's the real Drake.
He's a real Drake.
He's La Drake.
Or Spanish? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dummy.
So it was
dummy.
the big celebration as him as the $1 Million Champion. Ted DiBiase comes out, and they're going back and forth. And, LA Knight's opening up and telling how much he loves Ted DiBiase, how much he was a fan. And growing up, he always wanted to be
How could
Ted
he not
DiBiase.
be?
Yeah, I mean,
That is action figure.
Dude, but this promo, this whole segment was phenomenal. Just, LA Knight's delivery, Ted DiBiase feeding off that. You had the security guard standing there. You had the title there. But at the same time, it was kind of it's obvious something was going to happen here, something bad, because LA Knight was being so, emotional. But
He's an
nonetheless,
emotional guy.
we cannot wait for it. I even though we kind of knew something was going to happen, we cannot wait. But then LA Knight in true heel fashion says, I have everything I want now, and I can get rid of what I don't need, and then just hits Ted DiBiase, knocks him down. Ted DiBiase.
That was a great punch he threw.
Great punch, but he takes a bump and he does a flat back. He throws his arms out, lands on his back. So
proper way to do it.
Yeah, despite how old he is, he still has the technique, the proper technique in him, how to fall to the on the ring there,
on the mat,
the mat,
canvas.
But dude, an LA Knight, takes everything, throws it. I mean, it
what
was
a jerk.
Yeah, but it was such a great way to get some heat on him, heel heat. It was so good. It was simple, but it was straight to the point.
It was organic.
Yeah, and then he has the title, he's posing with it, and he walks out, and then Cameron Grimes makes the save, and
he threw some great punches at LA Knight.
Yeah,
fire.
They were fire.
And then he holds up Ted DiBiase in his lap, and he's like, I'm gonna get you, LA Knight. So, dude, you add nuclear heat to LA Knight. Cameron Grimes is obviously now a baby face.
Way super over as a baby face.
Super over. And now...
over. He's over the moon.
Thank you. But now you think about it, him and Ted DiBiase now have like a common interest, a common enemy in LA Knight. So maybe, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if Ted DiBiase is going to be on TV still, but maybe he can groom Cameron Grimes even more and help him train and get ready to take out LA Knight and get back the title, bring it back home to Ted DiBiase. I mean, it writes itself. I mean, it's so good.
This is a great storyline right here.
God, I mean, it's so old school, but at the same time, it's so good. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we've been preaching this for the last few weeks. NXT's been hitting on all cylinders post WrestleMania week, and
something that lacks in the competition.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. As far as they put on banger matches, they've been rotating all the titles, main eventing every week. But then this compelling storyline is so good. I'm such a fan of it. I don't know, Richard, is there anything else about this whole segment you want to touch on?
It's just as old school gets to me, which I love. So it's like
LA Knight used Ted DiBiase to get that title, and he turns on him, and so it was great. I mean, God, like I said, it's so simple storytelling. It's compelling.
Ted DiBiase is just so damn good still.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I know.
You know,
I know. I loved it. So
this was like something out of Mid-South or the AWA, I thought.
Man, so good. And then the main event, we saw Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa take on grizzled young veterans. Dude, I love this match.
Me too.
Ciampa and Thatcher get the win, but at the end, Ciampa looks at the camera and says, "This was our takeover." So I wonder, in some ways, this match was so good because maybe they felt they should have been on TakeOver, but TakeOver
they felt they were snubbed.
Yeah, but TakeOver was so stacked already with matches, so I felt like this was a continuation of TakeOver. I don't know what you think, Rich, of this main event of just two of the great tag teams.
Physical. Jesus.
Yeah. Dude, Tommy and I were watching, and when the Grizzly Young Veterans hit the Doomsday device on Ciampa on the outside, I was like, oh, look, don't fall on your neck. Like, I'm so scared for him.
Yeah, one more and you're done.
I know. I was like, God, be careful. But luckily he flipped over in rotation before he hit the ground. I think he was able to land like on the side of his body.
I guess Ciampa is like the Peyton Manning of pro wrestling. One more, if many neck surgeries.
No, but dude, this match was hard hitting, physical. The tornado tag team rules. They're all in the ring at the same time. And then Ciampa, hit his finisher, and Thatcher helped push. Was it Drake? Drake took a beating. Drake was getting slapped all match long.
That was hilarious, I thought.
And then so they picked the victory. So for Thatcher and Ciampa, I wonder if they're gonna get maybe a title shot. We saw them interact with MSK before the match with some popcorn. I thought that was kind of cool. Timothy Thatcher loves popcorn, apparently. Munch down. So give me that. It's like the two older veterans versus two younger guys. Oh, I cannot wait. So, dude, NXT was awesome. This was an amazing episode of NXT. So much to look forward to on the next episode. So, good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling 101. And please send your hate tweets to at BabyHuey83 on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you.
Those are my side accounts. So
Your burner accounts.
I read all your messages, guys. I know you're upset.
Oh my God, damn you. Tommy, how about you? Where can the Kliqsters find you online?
Well, if you want my
At
2
Baby
cents.
Huey 83.
Damn you.
Well, if you want my 2 cents, you could just hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
Please follow Tommy. Does some great live tweeting during the major pro wrestling shows. So,
I try.
Yeah, good hot takes from Tommy there. I'm Baby Huey.
Hot takes.
As Richard just mentioned, follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey 1980. Oh, no, Baby Huey
when do you
83.
become a man? When do you become a man?
Man Huey?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mewy.
Mew. That's it. That's my alter ego.
Yeah.
Like the
It's a good alter
of
ego.
3 faces of Foley, 3 faces of
Yes.
Huey. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Mewy.
Maybe you have to become Boy Huey first.
Or
and then
Teenage Huey. Okay.
That's a Pokemon. You'll evolve.
Damn you. So follow me at Baby Huey83 at In The Kliq on social media as well, inthekliq@gmail.com. Subscribe to us. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please leave us a like. Hit that thumbs up button. That does help out a lot. Rate, comment, share the podcast. That always helps as well. Help us with the whole algorithm things and system. Get the merch, link in our bios. A lot of good stuff. No, thank you everyone for all the support. If you haven't done so yet, go back and listen to the interviews I did with Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, all out there. Take a listen as well. Why are you shaking your head, Richard?
It's not an interview when you have Drew McIntyre on anymore. What more do you have to talk about?
He's a
with Drew
co-host as well
McIntyre?
now. He's part of the show now. He's part of the
I
Kliq
know.
family.
He's a contributor.
He's not a guest anymore. That means you can talk to him like he's trash, like you do about me and Tommy when people can't hear you. Guys, he is so mean to me and Tommy. He's not the nice guy you think he is.
I love the Kliqsters. Thank you guys for all the support. I love you all.
Wow.
On that note, let's go home, and that's the bottom
I'm not
line.
even going to say what.
Huey
I'm not even
said
going to
so.
tell them what you say about Phil.
Let's get out of here. I love it. All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Forever.